We're starting to populate here as we get going on Bud Light game night. We'll tell you more about it in just a second. Let me send a retweet out. Dun, 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 dun. Brett's already in the chat room. Good afternoon from just south of, I'm going to get this right, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. How about that? Redneck Jim got it right. Brett on the road outside of Camp Randall, Madison.
Yeah, hey, we'll be up there. Is it 2 years?
I think it's, is it next year?
I thought it was 2024. It might be next year.
Could be
no,
2023.
I don't think so because they've got return with Texas.
Yeah, could be 24 or 25. All right, let's set the table for you. We're here at Baumhower's Vestavia location, Highway 31. You got to watch the show. Over the next couple of days, we're going to unveil the rest of September locations and maybe even the October locations of our Bud Light game night. First off, thanks for being in, William. Happy game night, men. Let the weekend begin. A toast to that. A little Bud Light toast. Let the weekend begin. First off, the reason Ryan Brown is not here and not running the whole show is because he is en route right now on his way to do the Hey Coach show. So when we're done here at 6, if you can't make it out here to Baumhower's in Vestavia, then make it over to Baumhower's in Tuscaloosa and watch Brownie on the Hey Coach show at 7 o'clock. We appreciate Baumhower's for hosting us and the great folks at Bud Light who are here now with us. And we've got drink specials we'll tell you about, a giveaway we'll tell you about as we move throughout the day and evening, and a whole bunch more. But we're here to celebrate football. And bear with me as I roll through all this stuff because Brown usually manages it all. LT just said, who's back in the studio and who's helping us out? And I said, buddy, it's just me and you. There's nobody else.
So if I have a heart attack, you got to fly this plane?
Or if I have a heart attack, or if we do something wrong and hit the wrong buttons, as I told Brown in the text, we don't know what we don't know.
Yep.
So we're up and running. At least somebody can see us. And we're here at this beautiful location in Vestavia. And don't forget, anytime you see a next round QR code, hit that QR code and do whatever it says, download everything. Bud Light for the fans, always, the great folks at Bud Light, and we encourage you to enjoy them all football season. We're here to kick off the NFL season, but Bud Light game night will always include the college game too, and we'll get to all that. But we also want to make this an Ask Us Anything show. So as always in the chat, you can hit us up, ask us anything, and we will talk about any game you want to talk about. We'll talk about anything going on in the world, the show, whatever, so we can do that. Benjamin jumps in. Brett, do you do the old trash bag in the cab porta-john? I've always wondered that, Brett. Do you pull over ever, or do you
you mean shits in a bag?
Or does he poop in a bag? Because when I was on the billboard back in the 90s, my local TV fundraiser.
Didn't you have cat litter?
I had cat litter in the bag, and I called it that, the shake and bake.
Oh, but he's not like he can shift gears and go. I mean, he's got to pull over. I'd be looking for an exit.
I don't know what Benjamin does. I would look for the next truck stop as well, but I don't know how Brett rolls. Brett says thanks for the shout out, and he just drove past Camp Randall.
Yeah,
I bet he sees a lot of cool things on the road.
I bet he does.
Okay, so
we're on the road every Thursday.
And again, once we get we're told there are locations booked the rest of September and most of October. We'll pass those locations along to you. We'll catch up with the Ask Us Anythings in the chat. You guys do that. But tonight the NFL starts. It's the Buffalo Bills and the Los Angeles Rams. They get the right to kick off the season. The Bills are just there because it's a good game. The Rams are there for one reason, and that's because they're defending world champions. And you don't really get to defend a world championship. It's yours forever. So the page officially turns at 7:20 when they kick off the season. Your world championship run is done. But before we start a new season, just reflect a little bit and tell me how awesome has it been this offseason to finally be world champion.
You know, I sadly, and we talked about my fandom today, and I know there's a lot of people out there that can relate to my fandom because, you know, whether you pull for Auburn or Alabama or UAB or Tennessee or Georgia, you know, I've got the passion for the Rams that a lot of people around here have for college football. And it's funny. So the roommate decorated my downstairs, and I'm sure you saw that video for Super Bowl 56 with all of the stuff going down the stairs. And so there's this one Rams balloon helium balloon that was in the corner, and it's still floating.
Yeah.
And I was like, if that thing is still floating, come kick of the Bills game, we've got a shot to repeat. We got a shot to run it back. It was just one of those weird mental things. But so I look at it every day. My daughter had drawn on my grease board that I've got where I put my plays up. She had drawn a Ram, go Rams. And so I had that up for the entirety of the offseason until last weekend when I had to put my my college football bets up. So it's been awesome, man. You enjoyed it last year. I think you enjoy them more the older you get because you realize how difficult it is. I'll never forget the Greatest Show on Turf in 1999. I was like, the Rams are going to win 3 of the next 4. This offense is unstoppable. And 2 years later, they were in the Super Bowl. They missed the playoffs. No, they were wild card the very next year at 9-7. Then they were 14-2 in 2001 and lost to Tom Brady in his first Super Bowl appearance. And, you know, it took them till Super Bowl 53 to get back. They scored 3 points in that. And I always told myself, I'm really going to enjoy it if we ever win another one. Finally did last year. It's been an awesome offseason. I really, you know, obviously I'd love to see the Rams become the first back-to-back Super Bowl champion since New England did it in 2003, 2004. But I'm a realist. Probability's just not there. But I think this is going to be a good team this year.
Alabama fans can't relate right now because they are spitting them out at such a fast rate. There'll come a time again where you'll yearn for that next championship. Auburn 2010, not that long ago, relatively speaking to what Georgia just ended after 41 years. But my Auburn friends who I play golf with a lot really believe they'll win a basketball national championship before they win a football national championship right now. So, you know, you never take any championship for granted. Even the next one for Alabama, whenever that may come, 2020 now already seems like it's a long time. And it was only just the season before the last one you lost the national champion. Championships are hard to come by, no matter what level it is. So enjoy these last few minutes until the fight starts again at 7:20. We're here until 7. The show goes until 6 every Thursday night. 1 hour of an Ask Us Anything. Then we're going to hang out and drink some Bud Light. He'll bail and go watch his Rams play. I'll leave at 7 to go home and enjoy the game myself and prepare for our Friday show and get ready for a big college football weekend. But you guys, with an Ask Us Anything, we appreciate everything rolling in. Thank you so much for jumping in the show, and we'll bounce some of those up here right now. Let's go. I think it's Matt first. Matt asked this question: who are sports figures who have had the biggest impact on your show over the years, minus Nick Saban? Now, it's a good point you say minus Nick Saban, and not necessarily anything Nick has ever said on our show, but just the fact that he has been so good at Alabama since we started our show in Pasadena when they were playing for a national championship. I've told people, they're like Kirk Herbstreit knows my name. Tracy Wolfson knows my name. We're not friends, and I'm not a big deal to them, but they know my name because I've covered Alabama since 2009 when they were in the national championship game, and we see those national people all the time, and especially in the playoffs, so they remember who we are. So I think he has helped our show tremendously on a national level because Alabama's been the team of college football after Nick Saban.
Well, we're real quick on Nick Saban. I don't know if we'd be doing what we're doing right now with our own platform here on the Next Round if it wasn't for Nick Saban. And the way I bring this up is, you know, I was at Jocks forever ago. I started working at WJOX in 1998, and before Nick Saban got there, revenue was good. It wasn't great. It went to another level with Nick Saban, and it allowed us to not only bring in more revenue, but to make bigger contracts, to put us in a situation
That's right.
financially where we could take the opportunity to go out on our own and do some things.
I told him that last year at Hey Coach. Brown is hosting it, is the guest tonight. Last year when I was the guest, and I forget which game it was before, I told him in a commercial break, because he wasn't walking around because of COVID restrictions. I said, by the way, I don't know if any media person has ever told you, but thank you. And he goes, for what? And I said, you have put, you know, you're eventually going to put 2 of my kids through college. You've provided me great employment over the last couple of years, the last 12 years. And just thank you, because you've changed my life forever just because of my chance to cover you.
Yeah, and I think people would think that that's like hyperbole, but it's really not. I remember covering Mike Shula and what those years were like, and I know you were friends with Mike Shula doing the coaching show. but there wasn't a buzz and there wasn't excitement really there was excitement rolling into the college football season, but after a couple of weeks, Alabama had a loss and all hope was lost. And, now it's just totally different. So I'll go outside of Nick Saban. Gus Malzahn has been big for the show just because of the ups and downs and the passion of that Auburn fan base.
Right. I see that. How about Charles Barkley?
Yeah, Barkley's been big for us.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been a true friend, and he's been accessible whenever we want him, and he's just been awesome. And his name continues to grow. I don't know if you saw it. I just saw it on social media today. Apparently, TNT Studio Show did the Family Feud.
Really?
Yeah. And so Barkley, they have one clip, and Steve Harvey is asking the question. I wonder if I should save it, or should I want to give out what he says?
Oh, this is a small group. This is family here, so go ahead and say it.
So Steve Harvey says, if your zipper bust in church, what do you do to hide it? And Charles said, or what's the best way to hide it? And Charles said, a kid. And, oh, my God, everybody dies. Ernie actually walks to the other team. And then Charles like, well, let me change it. A baby. And they're like, just shut up, baby. It was really funny, though.
But, Barkley's a friend. And, I always felt like if we were in a jam, when we started, we went on a limb to start this. I always felt like if we got into a bad jam, Barkley would have bailed us out too. He was sort of a safety net for us. So Barkley is one of them. Other than Barkley and Gus, can you think of anyone else?
Well, he's not a sports figure, and I know he's polarizing, and some people don't like him. But, Clay Travis, we've watched him go from basically a writer for a website. I saw him go from CBS Sportsline to Deadspin, to creating his own content. We were all there the day he did it and had the kickoff party, and that was a little over a decade ago. But we've seen him transform into, one of the bigger controversial names in sports as far as covering sports and politics. And I think, his weekly Tuesday appearance, I think has been big for us.
It really has. So, too, is the folks at Bud Light. It's Bud Light game night. We're here in Vestavia at Baumhower's. Thank you to Baumhower's. Thank you to Bud Light. We're enjoying the Bud Light here live with you until 6. It's an Ask Us Anything show. And let's get some more questions up here. Let's go to, I'm really bad at this. Unlike Brown, I'll just put anything up there. Ainsley, you have to move to one NFL town right now, and it can't be your favorite team. Where you're going? Ainsley, what a great question.
Well, there's not a chance in hell that I would move to L.A. anyway.
Yeah, so you can't go to L.A.
Nashville would have been the easy answer a couple of years ago. Nashville's almost gotten too big. I'm not going to Green Bay, though, so I'm not going small. Years ago, I might have said Seattle.
You would have said Chicago at one point in your life, too. It was a good town for a while.
Yeah, if I could live in Chicago just in the late spring, summer, and fall, I would do that. I think I am going to go with this is tough.
I can't live in New Orleans either. I like to visit, but I can't live there.
I think I am going to go. I don't like Tampa.
Right.
Dunaway, this is a tough question. Sure as hell not going to Miami.
Yeah, I'm not going to Kansas City. Not
going
to Baltimore.
You know what? I liked Kansas City. I think Kansas City might be my answer. I think you answered the question for me.
Kansas City, of all those, is your answer?
Yeah, I think so. I spent 2 nights there on the bracket challenge when we lost. And I just thought it was really a cool, really interesting place.
Well, first off, I don't think Jacksonville's an NFL town, so I don't think they should have a franchise.
Yeah, they might not long anyway.
I think I would go to Dallas. I like Dallas when I'm there. I can live in the burbs, but there's some good places downtown Dallas. I think I would go Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, Dallas is a good call. Dallas is so big, though.
Yeah.
So big. Kansas City just wasn't that big. I just thought it was a pretty neat town.
Ainsley, thank you. We're the next round guys, minus a couple of them. Rockstar is going to be at Champy's Chicken Friday night. If you want to go see him 6 to 8, he'll be there, and you can drink your Bud Lights there while you listen to Rockstar sing the tunes down at Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. And he's doing dad stuff, but he may swing by tonight, but I don't think he's going to make it. Brownie is doing Hey Coach, so he's on the way to Tuscaloosa. He's Lance Taylor. I'm Jim Dunaway. Thanks for being with us as we do a little Ask Us Anything here. And let's bounce up to the next question. What's your go-to at Baumhower? Says cornbread. Well, I'll tell you,
I know mine right now.
I was in between lunch and dinner because I swung by to see our friends at Alfa Romeo, and LT and I both have new Alfa Romeos today. We'll send out a picture tomorrow.
And by the way, that's not a humble brag before
No,
people start.
They're great sponsors.
Yeah, great sponsors. You can get great deals right now on the new Stevios that we're in. Do you know how to pronounce the new one we're in?
The Veloce.
The Veloce.
The Veloce.
Something like that. Anyway, we'll
It's
figure
Italian
out
for fast.
the right pronunciation. But look, they've got great deals, right? You can lease. It's and Bo and his staff do such an incredible job.
Yes. So I was by there. So I was late getting here to help Brown set up. So I had not had lunch from the show, and dinner's coming up. So I was in between. So I went with the Cubana bowl. It's black beans and rice with some onions and avocado and grilled chicken on top of it. That's my go-to every time I'm here. It is fantastic with a cold Bud Light or 4.
Yeah, so I go black and white chicken. The entree, you get the black and white chicken. It's seasoned perfectly. It's got a side of the wild rice. It's got a side of broccoli, which I never thought as a kid I would eat. But I get 2 of the white barbecue sauces on the side. I dip not only the chicken in it, but also the rice and the broccoli in the white barbecue sauce. It's fantastic.
You cannot beat that. Ask us anything. We're getting ready for Rams and Bills tonight. Lanceslock.com for a play on that game. If you haven't signed up for the entire football season, go to lanceslock.com and use the promo code JIM because I need the money. Promo code JIM. And I get paid if you use the promo code Jim to sign up. But he's got a great deal right now for the entire football season. Rolling on. Let's see. Marty Smith. That's a good call, Bradley. Marty Smith. Marty Smith, big for us too. Yes,
we've watched him grow too. You know, when Marty first started coming on the show, really it was just a NASCAR situation, and it was more of, I don't want to say it was mocking Marty, but Rockstar had done such a good impression of Marty Smith. You know, when Talladega Hannah had us set up with him, it was just really to talk NASCAR the first time. And Rockstar did his impression of Marty Smith. And, you know, he said, leave it to an Alabama redneck to make fun of a redneck. I forgot exactly what the quote was. I'm kind of paraphrasing there. But, Marty, we've watched, much like Clay, Marty has grown into a superstar. And I see Marty on commercials all of the time.
Yeah, he's a big guy for Academy, Shinerbach, and a bunch of other things now. So Marty is out there. And a AU fan wants to know, Dunaway, what do you think of Zach Bryan's new music drop? Has it been like today music drop or yesterday or just a new music he's had out a little bit earlier this summer? What is it? Summertime Blues? I forget what the name of it is. But so far, I've yet to have a Zach Bryan song I do not like. And you got me intrigued. So I'm going to go straight to my Spotify right now and bring up Zach Bryan to see if there's been a new music drop today that I don't know about. I'm not like in his fan club, but Something in the Orange is something I love. Burn, Burn, Burn is a single. Okay,
so I really don't know who Zach Bryan is. I know who Luke Bryan is.
Okay,
I know who Zach
music.
Brown is.
Okay, Zach Bryan, if you would take a little of the time, I think I'm right about this, AU fan, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. And this name may mean nothing to you either. Tyler Childers.
Yeah.
Instead of a more stripped down Tyler Childers, basically just him, a guitar, and he's just sitting there. I think he's an Oklahoma guy or a Texas guy, a little Midwestern music. It's all about the lyrics. You would love the song Something in the Orange. It's talking about the sunset, and Something in the Orange tells me we're not done yet. So it's a sort of a breakup song. Something in the Orange is one of my favorites. Going South is really good.
How many times did you mix breakup tapes throughout high school? I mean, you were a serial dater in high school, right?
I was, and I was a serial breakup-er too. I got dumped a lot, and I've always felt hard. Steven would move to Houston.
Not a fan. The traffic is awful. Traffic is 280 everywhere.
I like their sports. I like the Astros, but no. Brett would do Jacksonville.
Not a big fan of that town either.
Benjamin would go to Tampa. Breadman would go to Charlotte.
Charlotte's not a bad call. Denver.
Forgot about Denver.
Yeah, Denver's a pretty good call too.
I enjoy the Bud Lights. I enjoy the Rocky Mountain Highs just as much, by the way.
Yeah, San Diego would have been my call. Actually, I don't want to live in California now, but San Diego would have been nice if the Chargers were still there.
All right. Ush says, give me your 4-person playoff of Andy Griffith show characters. I bet you can't name 4 characters on the Andy Griffith show.
Andy Griffith, Ron Howard, Don Knotts,
Well,
and Aunt May.
You know their real names.
I probably, and I'm not exaggerating this, I've probably seen 2 or 3 episodes of Andy Griffith in my life, and I probably haven't seen one in over 20 years.
Andy and Barney, their dynamic is iconic.
Who was the drunk?
Otis was the drunk. I didn't like that character so much.
Was it too stereotypical?
Yeah, and he wasn't there all the time, but I enjoyed, just Barney makes the show to me. When it went color and got away from Barney, it just wasn't the same show. Gomer was good enough to go into his own show. Did not like Ernest T. Who was saying Ernest T there, says Brett. Not a big Ernest T fan either. Kevin says, can LT pronounce his new car name?
Yeah, well, look, just let me look at it and I can get it.
First of all, it's a Stelvio, right?
It is a Stelvio.
Yeah, it's an Alfa Romeo Stelvio, and then it's the higher end. By the way, did he explain to you the gear? It's got racing gears on it.
Yeah, that's what I need.
He started saying to us, okay, Dunaway, here's your racing gears. If you want to manually go through the transmission cycle and cycle up, cycle down. I was like, wait a second, what? I thought I had an automatic. You do have an automatic, but if you want to do the racing gears, you kick this to the right, you start on the steering wheel.
Let me try to find this.
Not a humble brag, just a flat out brag that we got new Alfa Romeos.
It was
today.
not
It's just a great sponsor.
Yeah, I mean, Bo O'Neill and those guys do such a great job.
It's not a brag when I roll into Champy's Chicken and talk about their chicken, or hear Baumhowers and talk about their grapefruit. It's just a fact. Stephen Chandler, thank you, Stephen. Start bench cut, has that caught on? We used to do that.
What is that?
Start bench cut.
Oh,
is anybody else doing that?
I think people do it. You'd have to give me a player.
I feel like I started that.
No, you did not.
I didn't start bench cut.
No,
off the great game, kill, marry, or start bench cut.
Yeah, MKF.
Yeah, MKF.
And let me guess, you started that too.
You want to go MKF on on people close to us right now?
Nope, I really don't. Dunaway.
Steven, start bench cut. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes.
Okay, Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes, and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I hate him. I'm just going to try to be objective. I would start Aaron Rodgers.
I would too.
I would cut Tom Brady. I would bench Pat Mahomes.
We're solid right there. I would do exactly that right there. I would do exactly that, and he's my quarterback. How many TNR hats, Brett wants to know, do I have on my dash, and how many Bama hats? Now, Brett has some hats.
I've noticed this. My TNR hats have gotten outlandish. I probably have 15 now. But the thing is, when I wash it, it kind of destroys it. How do you wash your hats?
I don't. I didn't know we were supposed to wash them.
Yeah, I don't like, especially like the original one, the white and the gray one.
Yeah.
It just started to have some sweat marks on it.
It did.
Playing baseball didn't mind that.
Right. That's what I was going to say. I just, and correct me if I'm wrong in the chat room, I just figured it was like we were late in the season trying to make it to Omaha. And I was just, I have a game-worn hat. We're 1 year into this thing, and I'm going to wear that thing until it falls off. The original.
I've got no problem doing that. But when I've got like sweat stains on my hat, sitting in a place like Baumhower's representing Bud Light,
I'm going to say
you need it to be a little clean.
I'm going to say you've got 4 TNR hats and 3 Bama hats, Brett, on your dash. Let us know if we're right or wrong later on. Rolling on, JT is with us. After Bridge dropped a new track today, Sin After Sin and Straight Fire.
Who is Alter Bridge?
Alter Bridge is the new album.
Oh.
Sin After Sin, Straight Fire. If you know, you know, he says. I have to check it out, JT. JT is also very useful over in the community on Twitter. We appreciate you so much. I'll go check it out, see what it is. How did y'all lure Furman onto our show? I think we promised him money, and then we never paid him. I don't know. Furman was friends with Clay. Clay said Furman's an up-and-coming guy in Vegas. We should be friends with him. We befriended him early on. LT did. He started coming on the show, and he likes all of you folks here in the South so much, he keeps coming on the show with us.
Yeah, I met Furman years ago in Vegas, and then we hung out in Nashville a couple of times, and I think we met up with him one time in L.A., and he is just such a knowledgeable guy that really all he does during the day, if you're an accountant, you work with numbers. If you're an attorney, you're working on different cases. All he does is break down numbers and teams in every single sport. That's all he does all day long.
Bradley wants to know, again, we're getting ready for Rams and hosting the Bills. They'll put their banner up tonight in SoFi. We're here at beautiful Baumhower's, the home of the original Buffalo Wing in the state of Alabama. Bob Baumhower is a tremendous guy. We're here in the Vestavia location on Highway 31. Over in Tuscaloosa is where – who is it? It is David Walls.
Yeah.
Over in Tuscaloosa at the Tuscaloosa Baumhowers is the one and only Ryan Brown. He's on Hey Coach tonight.
Is he going to upstage Saban, you think?
He's been very out there the last couple of days. He's been animated Brown. So we'll see how animated he is tonight.
Hey, Coach, I got this question.
He's been animated Brown. When he's doing his reads, he's doing all his hand gestures and pointing and stuff. And he's dying for us. I don't know if you noticed yet. He's probably still listening on his drive over. I don't know if you noticed. He's dying for us to comment on him propping his feet up during trash. He's done that 3 days in a row.
No, I think people did comment on it, didn't they?
Yeah. So, but he's wanting you and I to say something like, "Is this a regular thing now, Brown? Is this going to be a forever thing?" So
he shows off his New Balance, which is another proud sponsor here on the next round. So I don't mind it.
I think somebody's told him he's got good legs, and that's what he's trying to do is get more comments about his legs.
Was it a prisoner?
Probably so. Probably so. For me, it's grandmothers. For him, it's prisoners. That's our ratings right now. Bradley, what's on your food menu for Saturday? He's doing smoked wings, smoked queso, and some Fireball grilled pineapple.
Damn. I mean, that sounds incredible. I've never had smoked queso. I love queso, and I eat it literally 4 or 5 times a week, including yesterday.
So Fireball grilled pineapple, is that pineapple soaked in Fireball?
I guess it is. I don't know if that sounds good or not. I'm not a big Fireball guy, to be honest with you. In a pinch, I can do them.
I did a shot the other night.
Yeah.
I was at a bar and somebody said, "Fireball shot, Dunaway. Love the show." I said, "Okay, let's do it, man. Let's do it." Thank you guys for jumping in. We'll keep rolling through the chats over here. You guys are fantastic with so many questions flying in so fast. Goose writes in, "Is Maggie British or just really into the Queen?" My wife is not British. She is originally from Memphis, Tennessee, but moved here when she was like 5, 6, or 7. And she went to the same high school I did, the same college that I did, just that we were 10 years apart, so we never saw each other, right? I was in high school. She was in elementary school. I was in college. She was in high school. You know how it works. I was on television in Birmingham. She was graduating college. And she had no idea I was on television when we started going out. But she's not British. She just only watches British television. British Bake Off, Downton Abbey's where it all started. Bridger, just anything that's from the BBC, she watches it. About a veterinarian, about a detective. If it's British, she watches it. So she is no doubt in mourning tonight about the death of the Queen Mother. Well,
I've always said this. I'm not in mourning. It's sad anytime anybody passes away, but if you make it to 96, that's an incredible run. I think the English, first of all, per capita, great, maybe the best actors, musicians, just very talented people per capita. I know all the Americans out there are going to get mad at me for saying that. Do you like the British accent, though? And have you ever hung out with any girls with the British accent?
I have. The British accent doesn't bother me. I really enjoy.
See, I like it. I just don't know if I'd like it long term.
The Australian accent, which I guess is sort of redneck British, I like it better.
So what would you rather have long term? Hot chick with sleeve tat or hot chick with British accent?
Hot chick with good tattoos.
Really?
Yeah. Maggie has no tattoos.
Yeah, see, I take those and I mean, I think a sleeve tat would be okay for a minute. I think the British accent would be okay for a minute. I think both would get old.
Well, I don't want to go. Obviously, all these are if I was single.
Of course, we're doing hypotheticals here. Nick Saban loves those. Want to remind Brown, he loves them. Ask one tonight. Ask him that question.
I mean, I would be very romantic and just after we were laying around, I'd just be like, I just love to sit here and just read your arm, trace the flowers and stuff like that. I'd be so romantic about the sleep tap.
Hey, can I remind people real quick, Bud Light Game Night, we're going to do this every Thursday night. Looking forward to it. We want you guys to come out, too, because we got great giveaways. We got an incredible Bud Light cooler that we're going to give away.
We hadn't even mentioned that yet.
No, we haven't, and I'm talking high quality. This is like the bigger Yeti that you would see. Is that fair? Can we say that? Yeah. And, this is high quality Bud Light cooler. Come get registered for that. We'll draw in a little bit. But every Thursday night, we're going to be jumping around Birmingham, different locations. Tonight, we're at Baumhower's on Highway 31 in Vestavia. Come see us getting ready for the NFL season. We're going to do this every Thursday night. And at Baumhower's, they have happy hour Bud Lights Monday through Friday, only $2.49 a pint. You get a full pint for less than $2.50, 11 to 6. So we're going to be on here doing Ask Us Anything for the next 30 minutes. You got 30 minutes to get down here and get a $2.49 pint.
I used to have to give $20 at Cafe Risque to see that. She dropped a chicken wing and then ate it.
Why would she not, right?
And looked at me, and of course, I was the only one looking. Yes. Fantastic.
You don't miss a thing.
I do not. Well, that's what I'm facing right now.
My friend Charlie Vitello wants to know where we are next week. I'm guessing. Hey, Britt, can you confirm this? Mug shots downtown next week?
Where are we next week? Do you know? Bud Light's going to check. Our Bud Light folks who are here enjoying the great food here at Baumhower's.
I think it is mug shots.
Hold on. We'll get an update for you guys so we know where we are next week. Charlie, the road for the playoffs and the Lions starts Sunday, man. Get ready to go. Confirmation coming.
Really? You sure next week?
It's okay. They're just asking.
Okay, it's tentative. We're trying to figure it out.
I'm good right now. Thank you.
It might be Gabriel's over by the Galleria. It
wow.
Might be down in Uptown for mug shots.
Okay, we will let you know as we get a little bit closer. Some football talk first, and we'll get back to the Ask Us Anything. NFL starting tonight. Big weekend coming up. Some of you Alabama fans left today. Maybe you're already in Dallas. Maybe you're already in Austin. Maybe some of you are leaving tomorrow to make the drive out. We'll talk about that game in a second as well. But on the college football front today, Dabo Swinney got a big contract. And if you look, I think we have 7 coaches. We're right? Okay.
It was the mug shots? Yeah.
Okay, mug shots downtown.
Yeah,
Uptown.
Yeah, right by Top Golf.
Okay, next to Top Golf, mug shots Uptown next Thursday night. Make plans to come see us. We'll tell you about it on the show. I think we have 7 coaches now that are making over $9 million. Does that sound right to you?
Sounds right, yeah.
Yeah. And, we just told you how much Nick Saban did for us. Imagine what he did for Alabama all these years. Worth every penny of it. Did you have a problem with Dabo getting a raise at this point in time at Clemson?
No, I didn't. Again, I go back to watching Monday night. People dogged out that performance. And, again, I thought DJ was a little sloppy. The offense still out of sync. They've got a lot of work to do there. Ultimately, Cade Klubnik is going to be the starting quarterback. And once Klubnik takes over, I think that's a team that can play with the Alabama, Georgias, and Ohio States of the world. I really believe that. I think they're going to get better. They're going to get more confidence offensively. I think the defense is close to the other elite teams. And it's not like just because you throw a 10-3 that Dabo has lost his fastball. I still think Clemson is very much in the mix. They're still one of the top 4 or 5 programs in college football. And right now, if you had to rank your coaches, everybody goes Saban, no doubt. But number 2, who would be on your 2 line? I still would go Dabo based on multiple national championships.
Yeah, me too. Just from what he's done. And I think they'll be back as soon as what Brandon Marcello said on our show and what LT said before Brandon joined our show earlier this week, as soon as they put Klubnik in as starting quarterback. Daniel says, any crazy live on-air stories from back in the TV days, Dunaway? Oh, there's been so many of them. I've told stories many times, Daniel, that the favorite stories are off air usually. When I was at NBC 13, and it's still the building they're in today, that building was built into the mountain at Red Mountain, right next to the Vulcan. It's the station closest to the Vulcan. So some of the rooms downstairs don't even have floors or walls. You open up a door and you're in a cave, basically. It's just built into the mountain, the mine shafts and stuff up there. And we used to go all over the downstairs area that was not in use anymore. And it was a makeout session. You know, I was in my 20s and single, and so many 20-somethings in the television business.
So you made out in caves?
Yeah, basically I was a cave diver.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
what do they call that? I was a spelunker. You know what they called?
Well, how was your staglamite?
It was a lot stronger back then.
Yeah, I'm sure. So was it dirt everywhere? You just lay around in fossils and dirt?
It was dirt. I mean, we'd move some chairs down there, but some of it had some floors that went in and then it turned into dirt. It was just,
I don't know if you know about
it was an amazing building.
The topography in Birmingham, but we have a lot of red clay.
Yes.
And that is going to stain.
Yeah. I wasn't worried about that, LT.
I guess
I wasn't worried about that. Steven says British detective shows are the best.
Luther is one of the best shows ever, Steven. I'm sure you've seen it. Somebody said the other day that Luther is actually going to do a feature film, which I'm so excited about. We were talking about Idris Elba turned 50 this week. But if you've never seen Luther on the BBC, download it, stream it, whatever. Watch it. It's awesome.
Okay, where are we next week? One more time for Charlie, just to make sure.
We're going to be in Uptown. So right by Top Golf, we're going to be at Mugshots. We're going to be there for Bud Light Game Night. Looking forward to that. That's Mugshots next Thursday, 5 to 7 in Uptown.
All right. Joshua says, how many Bud Lights until we go from Jimmy Dunaway to Jimmy Beers? I'm a one beer buzz guy.
Well, he's not even halfway through. I'm on beer 2. I got to get, if I get him on beer 3, Joshua, we're good to go.
Oh, I had a beer earlier. I talked too much to get it to get going too far. Colby just wants to drop a Go Dogs in here. They're the defending champs. They're the college version of what you are, man, the defending champs.
Yeah, hey, look, I hope my team looks as good as the Dogs did in week 1 tonight against Buffalo, because Georgia thought they would take a couple of steps back. And again, we don't know how good Oregon is. I thought Oregon was a middle of the pack team back into the top 25. I thought they were overranked. But Georgia defensively, they looked lights out again. But I think their offense is even better than it was last year.
Yep. Toby, congrats on your Rams raising the banner tonight, LT. Got to be proud to see that. Again, for those that just joined us, your team's the champs, and you are so into it. Look at that. I mean, the gear, your gear is better than a couple of scouts.
Hey, look at this. I've got my AD socks on.
Oh, look at that.
I got my Rams colored dunks. The roommate got me here, and I've got the AD socks on. So, yeah, I'm rammed up tonight.
Aaron Donald's a beast. I know you're glad to have him back.
But I'm so excited about that. It was one of the most stressful playoff runs I've ever seen, because the Cardinals in the wild card round, that was an easy win. But after that, your Bucks, that amazing comeback, and then Cooper Kupp gets behind coverage to win that game by 3. San Francisco, the comeback, the dropped interception where it would have sealed the deal for San Fran. The tip ball, Aaron Donald's pressure ultimately gets them past San Fran. And then, to lose Tyler Higbee in the NFC Championship and then to lose Odell in the first half of the Super Bowl and still find a way to beat Cincinnati. It was just an incredible run. It was very stressful.
Well, I love Tyler Higbee, man. I wanted him in the fantasy draft the other night. Somebody got him before. Jim, what was your go-to dinner in the Calf during your Montevallo days? You know, I ate there some, but I don't remember my go-to. I just remember – I don't remember anything, to be honest with you. But I remember eating there. I just don't remember what I liked about it. I do remember high school, middle school, and elementary school. I loved the square pizza, but my favorite day, believe it or not, was chili day. I loved the chili, and you brought it up the other day, the peanut butter sandwiches we would get when it was with the chili, and it had something that made it sort of runny, the peanut butter, and I would dip my peanut butter sandwich into the chili too. It was just fantastic.
See, I never did that until you told me that, and I tried it since. I always was traditional grilled cheese with the chili. I love the square pizza day. So we would eat in the fraternity house, and we had a once a week. It was called Nacho Bell, and it was our Mexican laid out.
Oh, wow.
And so I was a big fan of Nacho Bell.
I bet you were. My friend Carl Perkins, who is a big viewer of the show, he was my communications dean, if you will, and he had 4 daughters, one set of twins. And we would go to his house and swim and do in the hot tub. And on football Saturdays, once a year, he would make homemade egg rolls. Stuff with beef and pork, but they were homemade. Like he would chop all the stuff up, ground the beef, ground the pork, season it, everything, roll them up, handmade, and just would make hundreds of them. He would do it all day long. And you would just sit there, and that's what you ate throughout the, had the spicy mustard and the sauce that was sweet, and
the duck sauce,
and just all day long eating those egg rolls.
Going back to your 20-something WVTM TV days, do you remember the mill down on the corner where Black Market is now?
Absolutely.
So the mill used to be a go-to. I had a couple of buddies that worked there, but when I was dating my ex-wife, she loved the mill, and she liked it. Was called Cheese from China, and so it was egg rolls just full of cheese.
Oh, wow.
And this is where she'd get a little ghetto with it. She would get ketchup on the side and dip the egg roll into the ketchup.
So it was basically a battered up gooey cheese.
It was a cheese log, and it'd probably stop you up for a couple of weeks. But man, I'd eat them every now and then. They were so good, though.
Benjamin writes in, Lance, who do you think has a better pressure rate tonight on defense, Bills or Rams? Good question. Who's going to get after the quarterback more tonight?
So you've got, and somebody was asking me here earlier, what did the Rams lose? And one of the big losses was Von Miller was so good down the stretch once he got traded from Denver to L.A. And so now he's with the Bills. But with all that said, you still have the best in the business, AD. I mean, Aaron Donald. And the difference here is Matt Stafford has a quick release. He tries to get rid of the ball. A guy like Josh Allen, so big in the pocket presence, always looks to, if after a couple of checkdowns, if I don't have something, I'm going to take off. The last time the Rams played the Bills built a huge lead. Rams were totally jobbed by a phantom Darius Williams 4th down pass interference. They ended up losing on one possession. But I'll never forget, the second half, the Rams were in Josh Allen's face the entire time because he holds on to the ball so long because he can do so many different things. So I think your answer is, I don't know if, I'm not giving away which side I like. I think the Rams have a higher pressure rate tonight, though.
Okay, Rams with a higher pressure rate tonight. Do you know how we're giving away the Bud Light cooler and all this stuff over here? We're going to do that with people that are on property, right?
Yeah, so what we're going to do, if you want to come out, you've got an opportunity to come have a cold Bud Light. Again, you've got another 20 minutes to get $2.49 pints of Bud Light. They do it Monday through Friday here at Baumhower's, their happy hour.
So that's just through 6, or is that going until 7?
It's going to 6.
Okay.
But I'm sure, they've still got great deals up here. Come by, have a beer, just register. We've got somebody walking around, and they're going table to table, and we've got registration forms, and close to 7 o'clock, we'll draw somebody, and they'll walk out with this cooler.
All right. All that's happening here tonight as we continue to get ready for the start of the football season. Why I find the next thing to talk about, would you tell me what you think of Texas, Alabama, early blush? By the way, the Players Club, the new Players Club is up right now. You can find that on all our video platforms and in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com. That is up. We recorded that earlier today with Mick Gillespie. It is Mick Gillespie, right? Okay. I said his name for our whole 30 minutes, and he was in the room with us, and I figured if I got it wrong, LT would correct me. I kept going, is it Nick? Is it Mick? Is it Mac? So I went Mick, and so I got that right.
The name I always get wrong, too. Abby or Addie and Rob or Rod.
Yeah, so I just one of those moments where I didn't ask before we started. I did the whole show, got it right. Great information. The Players Club brought to you by Lance's Lock and a lot of other folks there. We're at the Bud Light game night in Vestavia at Baumhower's today. Brown not with us tonight. He'll be with us next Thursday night as we roll throughout the season. And we're somewhere every Thursday night, a different location. And next Thursday, we're somewhere else next Thursday. We'll let you know where it is as we roll throughout the year with our friends at Bud Light. JT wants to know, Dabo's ability to recruit and develop quarterbacks is superior to Kirby. That has to factor in. Do you believe that to be true?
Developing, a couple of things. So Kirby's ability to recruit quarterbacks, you got to look at some guys that were in that quarterback room. You look at Justin Fields. Jacob Eason, he's still on an NFL roster. Jake Fromm, I think, is still on an NFL roster. As far as developing, I will give you that because Jake Fromm didn't get better. Jacob Eason transferred out. Justin Fields didn't get good until he went in Ryan Day's system. But Stetson Bennett has developed. And again, Stetson Bennett right now, if you had to give me 5 quarterbacks in college football, Stetson Bennett would be one of my 5. Obviously, Bryce and CJ. But Stetson Bennett, I would find a spot for him in the top 5.
Yeah, I think I would too, because remember, I don't think he's throwing to the best receivers in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if he was throwing to, say, the Ohio State wide receivers.
But I do think Dabo obviously does a good job at the quarterback. I think for whatever reason he's missed on DJ. This will happen every now and then. But he hasn't missed on Klubnik. I feel really good about putting it all in and saying that Klubnik is going to be a superstar.
Riley, save that for Rockstar next time he's with us. He's also off doing something tonight. Steven, Luther seasons were too short for such a great show. Should have been longer.
I agree, Steven. I mean, they were incredible, and I think most were 5 or 6 episodes, but still well worth the watch.
Charlie wants us to say something nice about his Wolverines. I don't think they could have looked any better coming out of the gate against a team they were much better than in Colorado State. I think that quarterback situation is not going to haunt them like a lot of the national people are making out. It'll be who very soon. They will choose one, and it's easy to go with the guy you had last year, but it probably will be McCarthy, right?
I don't know. I think it might be the incumbent because I don't know how much difference McCarthy looked better this past week. Again, they're not going to get tested for a while. I mean, they're a 50-plus point favorite against Hawaii, so they're just going to run down their throat. They probably run for 350, 400 yards. You saw what quarterback for Vanderbilt, Mike, help me out. Mike Wright.
Yeah, Mike Wright.
What Mike Wright was able to do against that defense. So I think they're up and down the field. And look, Michigan's got a beneficial schedule. I think there's a great chance, based on what I saw just with 1 week, that Michigan is able to be 11-0, like Charlie said, playing Ohio State.
Stacy, has LT seen the trailer for Tulsa King yet? Taylor Sheridan's new series. Sylvester Stallone is the lead. Have you seen the trailer yet?
I've talked to multiple people about it. I actually have not seen the trailer. I'm really excited about it. I'm a big Sylvester Stallone fan. I think he's a super talented guy that, has been stereotyped with 2 roles, Rocky Balboa and with John Rambo. But, he's talented. Taylor Sheridan's gotten out there a little bit. He's done some great work, though. And I'm looking forward to the Tulsa King. I will definitely watch it.
Several people said they saw your passcode. You may want to change your passcode now. What do you mean? Like on his phone as he was to get into it, unlock his phone?
I'm not really worried about it.
I mean, who's going to take his phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you guys do different starting the show if you had to start it over again, says Goose? Well, first off, Goose, we'd get to know you a lot sooner, man. What a great guy. Met him at the kickoff party, and it was fun to hang out with him. There's a couple things, but I don't really hate anything that we did. There's probably a couple of little things that are done differently in the studio. That's about it.
Yeah, maybe do it sooner.
Yeah, do it sooner. Yeah.
I mean, we had a contract and we fulfilled that contract, but if we could have done it sooner, I think that was the way to go. But I can't really think of anything that we would do differently right now. I like the way everything's going. I love, the 10 employees we've got. I love the merch that our guys churn out all the time. And I don't know, love the studio. I like everything about it. Love our sponsors.
Samuel, I once won $6,000 on a $10 UFC parlay. What's the biggest win either of you have ever made? I've told my losing weekend story way, way too many times. But one weekend I lost at Toyota Tercel Ping Golf Clubs, a couple $1,000s worth of cash. And he didn't take my stereo, took my lamp that I had all my CDs in. That was all in one weekend.
Well, it's funny. I was they talk about, if you're in a certain industry, you shouldn't abuse that industry. And when I used to book in college, we would bet. And so basically the money we would make, we'd give right back to another big booking in Tuscaloosa. And so me and my buddy, we were down $7,400. Imagine this, as 20-year-olds, $7,400 on a Monday night going into Vikings and Bears. And I remember calling the guy. His name was Keith. I said, what's the biggest turnaround I can do with you? And he's like, well, what do you want? And I was like, how about $1,500? And he was like, a $1,500 turnaround. I remember his voice. He wore a big gold eagle.
And what's a turnaround?
Turnaround is, so you place 2 teams. If you hit both, you get 4-1. If you lose one, you lose double juice, so you're minus 140. If you lose both, it's minus 280. So you can really rack up some losses. So really with a turnaround, you got to hit both sides. But again, it pays 4-1. So I put a $1,500 turnaround in, and the only way we picked it is we let the Sega Genesis play out Vikings and Bears. It went Vikings and over. We played it. By the third quarter, the game was decided. It was Vikings and over. So we won $6,000, paid the guy the $1,400. The very next week, we're almost in the same situation. So we empty the ATMs. We drive to then Biloxi, get on a riverboat. We play all our money trying to win the money back. We come home completely broke, and we had to get on a payment plan.
Oh, payment plan with a bookie.
Yep.
Yeah. It wasn't an option for me back in the day. Payment plan with a bookie. So not really a lot of great winning stories there in gambling. That's why you need lanceslock.com. Lanceslock.com. Great deal right now. Go to lanceslock.com and use the promo code JIM, JIM, to get a special offer and throw some cash into my pocket right there. Joshua says, as a fan of Barstool and you guys for years, watching TNR live with Mincy, and realizing it was the yak messing with him was an all-time crossover. Got to be one of the most electric moments ever. It was fantastic for us too, and luckily we caught on to it early on in the process, so that worked out good for us.
Yeah, I think us sitting back and kind of just observing and interviewing Mincy, we were able to hear kind of what was going on, and I think he was so caught up in the moment he just didn't realize what was going on.
Right.
But yeah, we got it early, and it was a funny moment. And I tell you, man, those guys have done such a great job with their platform. They've got so many followers. I mean, it was a big moment for us because we got a lot of play out of that.
Yeah, and the fact that we weren't so geeky and stuff when we were on, I think we made an impression with those guys too and helped us out a little bit. Landmine Believer, when I was in Vegas in May, I bought a Bills Super Bowl future. Getting a little nervous now that everyone is on the Bills. Should I be nervous, says Landmine Believer.
I mean, Landmine Believer, I'm a contrarian, so I think, public opinion is typically not good. But with that said, I mean, we've seen Super Bowl champions from the Patriots, the Chiefs, going back to the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, favorites do sometimes win the Super Bowl. I think the Bills are going to be outstanding this year. I cannot wait for tonight's game. So you got more of a value. That number has been bet down. So you've got better odds than most people out there right now.
Yeah. So that's, you got it before it got bet down a little bit. If you had to say one team to win the Super Bowl, not named the Rams, not named the Bills, who would you go with?
I'm going the Baltimore Ravens. Missed the playoffs last year,
Wow.
8-9. Had a lot of injuries at running back. They're still banged up. J.K. Dobbins is not 100%. Lamar Jackson, I don't think the contract is going to get done by Sunday. I think he's going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder. They've always got a solid defense. Special teams always solid. Justin Tucker, the best kicker in football. Rashad Bateman stepping up this year is going to be key for Baltimore, but I like Baltimore bouncing back in a big way. I think they're going to be really difficult out, and when you look at the AFC North right now, Pittsburgh probably trending in the wrong direction. Cleveland now with the Deshaun Watson situation trending in the wrong direction. Cincinnati, 2 of the last 3 Super Bowl runner-ups haven't made the postseason. I'm still not sold that Cincinnati's an elite team. I think Baltimore wins that division. I think they're in a good spot, kind of under the radar to make a Super Bowl run.
Yeah, I think that's a great point there. And did you know he didn't have an agent? Lamar doesn't have an agent. He's his own negotiator.
Yep.
And he says if the deal's not done by tomorrow, I'm cutting off the negotiations.
Well, I mean, again, I don't think it's going to get done. I mean, if I'm Baltimore, I probably let it go and see what he's able to do this year. I think he's probably going to crush them. There's a picture of Brett's hats.
Oh, wow. He says, as I put it up here, the answer is 8 TNR hats and 1 Bama hat. LT has a picture, and it's on Twitter if anybody wants to see it. I love that, man.
Yeah, man. He's got 5 that I've got. I don't have that Alabama hat, but
I don't have.
I've got that one. I've got that one. I've got 1, 2, 3. That's the one I ruined in the washing machine.
I don't have a red one. I don't have a red one.
You need a red one.
I do need a red one, but Reed has cut me off, I think, for a while. I think I went to the cookie jar too much for Uncle Reed. So I got to wait. Got to wait until I build up some more stock with Reed or something. College football game you're most excited to see this weekend?
Oh, I mean, Alabama, Texas just isn't going to play out like some people think it might. What's our big in the 2:30 one? Okay, I'm going to throw this out there, and there might be another one that's bigger. But I think Florida, Kentucky. Just watching Anthony Richardson last week by far exceeded my expectations. Everybody talked about he could be an elite quarterback, and I was like, I'm just not seeing it right now. I saw the potential last week against Utah. Now you've got a really good Kentucky defense coming in. And Will Levis was the quarterback that was really hyped in the offseason. So Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, if Will Levis outplays Anthony Richardson, it's a big statement from him. Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good game. And to me, it could be whoever decides second in the East behind Georgia. Tennessee's still got something to say about that. But I think this is a really good game.
If we end up with Will Levis having the best night of the weekend, we're gonna have to eat so much crow because we've been making fun of the kid all all summer long.
Well, I think outside of like draft experts, and those are the guys that get paid to, $1 million, multi-million-dollar decisions, I think most of us that are just casual college football fans, we haven't seen what they've seen. So, again, Anthony Richardson, we knew he was an athlete. He looks like he's turned the corner. I still haven't seen it from Will Levis. Again, Sean Clifford beat Will Levis out.
Big Josh says dark horse school, Power 5, that can contend for a playoff spot, top 6 by the end of the year.
So there's a chance Air Force is going to be undefeated. They're not going to be able to get in the mix. The only two that I would say, and BYU's an independent, big game, and I see Brett saying BYU Baylor is one of the games for him, and I agree. But BYU's got a really difficult schedule. If they were to go undefeated, they're going to get in the college football playoff. I don't really consider them a Group 5. Houston is the team that survived the Alamo Dome last week after getting down early. And Houston beats Texas Tech this week. They run the table in the AAC. I think they could get there. The only thing that happened to them, though, losing to a quality opponent, my opinion, is they dropped in both polls. You kind of need to be up there a little bit. Cincinnati started.
They started really high.
Yeah, inside the top 10.
Yeah, because they had done it the year before.
Undefeated.
And so they had some street cred, and then they backed it up last year. I don't think there's a group of 5, but he says a Power 5 dark horse. So is there anybody outside of the Givens in the Power 5 you think that can make a run?
Yeah, I read that totally wrong.
No, that's okay. That's a good conversation.
I don't want to say Florida because they turn around and lose to Kentucky.
Yeah. And by the way, I really think Kentucky not only covers, I think Kentucky beats them outright. You don't have to answer because you have a business in lanceslock.com.
No. Yeah, on that game, I lean Kentucky right now in that game. I mean, as far as covering, I don't know if they're going to win the game. But if Anthony Richardson, the jump he made from last year to game 1, if he continues to get better, because if you go back, Cam Newton against Arkansas State, I thought he looked good. He didn't look great. You saw flashes.
He didn't really get great until
Kentucky, I think.
He got a little bit better South Carolina, but Kentucky, that drive to win the game. Remember, he had a 4th down, falling out of bounds, threw it off his wrong foot, crossed his body for a touchdown on a 4th down play that helped them win the game. So, the season could have fallen apart there. And then from that point on, from that play in Lexington, could not be stopped. And if I remember correctly, Alabama had lost earlier that day in Columbia, South Carolina, and then Auburn beat Kentucky that night. And that's when the sort of the ships passed in the night in 2010.
Yeah, and I still think Wisconsin's one of these teams. I think the West is going to come down to Wisconsin and Minnesota. We've already seen Iowa's offense is awful. But Wisconsin with Braylon Allen and where he is right now, everybody talks about Bijan. Everybody talks about Travion Henderson. People are talking Jahmyr Gibbs. Nobody talks about Braylon Allen. And Braylon Allen is a complete stud as a true sophomore. If Graham Mertz plays consistent football, Jim Leonard's got that defense dialed in. I think Wisconsin is a team that has an opportunity to go 11-1 because they've got Ohio State in the regular season. Let's say they lose that game, go 11-1, a rematch with Ohio State. They win that game. They're in the college football playoff.
Yeah, I can't wait till we get to the expansion. But we are going to miss some of that do or die stuff that you get occasionally in college football, like, when's the next time we'll do an Iron Bowl where, Alabama's not guaranteed to be in the 12-team playoffs when we get to that point? I mean, there'll come a time, but just think of how many do-or-die Iron Bowls we had. 2013, the kick 6. It was heartbreaking because Alabama knew the run was over with everyone running onto the field at Jordan-Hare Stadium. If we'd had a 12-team playoff, then Alabama would have not had to go to Atlanta and would have been sitting there waiting probably still to host a game.
Yeah, we'll see you next month is basically the motto would have been. And I think somebody looked it up, that Bama with a 12-team model would have been in all 8 playoffs.
Yeah, they haven't missed the year. I guess they went to Michigan State, played Michigan State down in the Capital One Bowl, is the closest they've come to really missing a 12-team playoff. So, Ohio State will be in the same boat. I think Georgia will be in the same boat when we get to that. All right, winding down here, our Ask Us Anything show from Baumhower is our first one of the year. Truthfully, this was a test run. We didn't even know we were doing this until yesterday. We're here they're planned out the rest of the way. Thursday night, every Thursday night, put it on your calendar, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, all Thursday, all football season. We've been planning something Thanksgiving weekend at the Iron Bowl over in Tuscaloosa with our great friends at Bud Light. You see it right here for the fans, Bud Light for the fans. They're going to be out here with great gifts and everything, great drink specials all year long. Tell us a little bit more about our relationship with Bud Light and how much they mean to you.
They're an incredible partner for us on the next round, and I'm really looking forward to Bud Light game night every single Thursday. Again, next Thursday, we're going to be in Uptown, down by Top Golf. We're going to be at Mugshot, so come join us. We'll be there 5 to 7. We're still hanging out here another hour, getting ready for the NFL season to kick off with the Rams and the Bills. But we'll have specials for you. We're going to have great giveaways all year long. There might be some tickets mixed in.
Ooh.
We're talking about that right now, but you still have an opportunity to come down and win this high-quality Bud Light cooler, enjoy some Bud Light specials.
You know, I've never seen a cooler that comes with what do you call this? It sits on a bar? It comes with it, too. What is this called? Does anybody know?
This is,
what would you name it? What would you name it?
No, it's a bar mat.
A bar mat.
Yeah.
The old bar mat. It comes with that. I love that. It's a cool-ass cooler right here with our friends at Bud Light.
Yeah, but every Thursday night, mark it down. We'll give you plenty of heads up during the week. We'll tweet everything out. So follow all social media channels, Adams and the folks at Bud Light, and, of course, us here on the next round, and we will update you. This is going to be fun.
Okay, last question from the audience before we turn it off. Landmine Believer, what does LT think of Amazon Prime bullshit for the TNF and Sunday Ticket going stream? When does Sunday Ticket go stream?
I think Sunday Ticket goes stream next year.
Next year, yeah. Apple stream? Is that what it'll be on Apple?
I think it's Apple. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but here's my problem. I don't know how to. First of all, I don't know how to stream on one TV. I can get the roommate to figure that out.
But you have the icons at the bottom, right?
Yeah, but the other TVs, I don't know how to work. So I don't know if I can stream all these TVs. Can you only stream one? By the way, Von Miller walking into SoFi with basically no shirt on.
Von Miller, man. He was a big addition.
Big addition. The streaming is where everything's going. I'll get used to it. I'll figure it out. I hate DirecTV. We all know that. So this is probably a good thing.
Yeah. DirecTV is just somebody I used to know now.
That's what they say.
I'm a YouTube TV person now. All right, here we go. That's it. That is show number 1. Ask Us Anything, Bud Light Game Night, where we talk a lot of football and just talk a lot of stuff. Hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it. Can't wait till Brown is back with us, though, and he'll be back with us next Thursday night. We'll give you the location as we roll throughout the week. Every week, just make plans to be with us every Thursday night. We'll tell you where to meet us in town. Hopefully, we'll come to your neighborhood and make it easy on you. Go catch Brown tonight on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. He's on Hey Coach at 7 o'clock. I'm sure Brown will get a big detail recap tomorrow on the show about how awesome it was and all of that. You'll get that from Brownie tomorrow. The Pick 3 is up, nextroundlive.com. You can go play that right now, and just everything that we have happening on our website, on our social media platforms. For everybody with our friends at Bud Light, the great folks at Baumhowers, he's Lance Taylor. I'm Jim Dunaway. Good night, everybody.